Listo.
Okay. Um,
¿Quieres que arranque yo?
sí.
Hey guys, how are you? We are Pablo and Bruno from the Opsek team, and today we are gonna see a bit about security in Apple devices, right? macOS, iOS, AppleID, and related stuff. The idea is to make this as interactive as possible. So any question you have, any idea you have, any critique, whatever, just ask us so we make it more interesting.
You are going to have the link now of a checklist to follow with all the settings that we are trying to cover. You're going to see that there are several settings that we are not talking on the stock, but you will have it included on the checklist, so you can do like the full hardening in the way that it's possible. Unfortunately, we don't have so many time to cover like all the topics, but we will try to guide you through the whole process so you can know what you have to do with the time to do it. Okay, yeah, so, well, the first thing is that you have to understand which is your threat model, your threat model scenario. It's not the same like if you are the founder of a company and you can be highly targeted by highly sophisticated threat actors, or maybe the most probable thing that can happen to you is that someone stole your device while you are walking on the street, or be targeted by common phishing scams that we see. So it's really important to know which are the resources that you are protecting. Also, like to know your scammer. Try to understand which kind of threat actors are you most probably exposed to, and try to recognize like methods, pathway that this threat actor use. So yeah, it's really important to know which kind of attacks you are more probable to be a victim of. Yeah.
Yeah, and one important thing that we are going to see is that we are going to see many ways of hardening your device. But if you are here, we are all targets, right, for sophisticated threat actors like North Korea and some Russian groups. Part of our threat model should be that your devices will be eventually compromised, right? It doesn't matter how sophisticated you are. If we are here, for sure, we are highly sophisticated. But anyways, part of the threat model should be that it will eventually be compromised, right? We will talk about zero-day exploits, for example. There are some things that we can do against zero-day exploits, but if someone has enough money and enough time, they will be able to compromise our devices. So, having said that, it's important to know what we have in our device, right? Like a very simple and basic thing, right? If we still have private keys in our device, eventually we are gonna get wrecked, right? So, having said that, let's go and let's start seeing the box for today. Está para allá. Ahí ya estás.
Okay, so there is the QR code, so you can scan it and have access to the checklist.
Yeah, anyways, for the ones that are here, then we are gonna share all of this.
Okay. No.
Have you read it? Yeah, okay, let's continue.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so first we are going to see AppleID security settings, because this is the settings of your Apple account. It's the same. It's going to protect also your phone and Mac, let's say.
Yeah, one important thing about your Apple ID is to understand what information we have stored there, right? And the fact that the Apple ID can be used in order to attack you, right? So one of the first things that we're going to see is that your Apple ID should be private, right? If my email account is pablitosabatel@gmail.com, my Apple ID must never be pablitosabatel@gmail.com. Nobody should know my Apple ID. Why? Many zero-day exploits, right? Exploit a vulnerability in macOS, iOS, Android that is related to sending you a special image in iMessage, right? So if a sophisticated threat actor has your Apple ID, they just need to send you an image in iMessage, even when you are not using your phone, not using your laptop. Your device will download that image, will render it. When it's being rendered, the device is exploited automatically because of the rendering engine, and your device is totally compromised, right? So first thing is your Apple ID, 100% private. Yep. Just by like in iMessage, WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal, images are downloaded automatically, right? So in WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal, we can configure not to download them automatically, right? That you should do it. In iMessage, you cannot do that. So what we recommend regarding iMessage and FaceTime is just not using them, disabling them, but we are going to see a bit more about that later. But we are going to see many times that for very important accounts, it's not related to this, but we can talk it anyways, your Apple ID, your password manager, the username for the email that you use for your 2FA app, and that kind of stuff, you should use cold email accounts that are accounts that are secret, configured with YubiKeys, and only logged in iPhones or iPads, never in a computer, right?
Perfect. In this first setting, what you need to do is go to iCloud account and go to the setting of Find My Mac or Find My Device. This should be on because it will allow you to track the device if it's lost or stolen, and because with this setting to find the device, it also works with the encryption that we are going to see later. So when you enable like file vault, that is the feature that allows you to encrypt your whole disk, you will be able to, from another device connected to your account, encrypt your whole device, and no one will be able to use your stolen or lost device.
Well, this is the part that we were talking about, your Apple ID. First of all, you will see that for sure when you see the details of your Apple ID, you will have an email and the phone number, right? The phone number here can be removed, right? So you should remove it. Any platform where you have a phone number configured is a platform that I could personally take over in 3 days, me, Pablito. It's very easy, right? So phone numbers must be removed from everywhere, right? Apple has a big issue, and it's that from this part that we are seeing, email and phone number, you can remove your phone number. You must first remove it from FaceTime, then from iMessage, in your phone, in your laptop, and then it will allow you to remove it from there. But then we will see that there's another section inside two-factor authentication, right, where you will not be able to remove it, and we'll see what you have to do. So first, have a private Apple ID, and remove the other email addresses that you have there that are doxed about you, and remove the phone number that you have. Then, obviously, password, update your password, have something. This is pretty basic, but we're going to say it again. All passwords must be unique. The number one issue we find related to this kind of hacks is having a very complex password but repeating it, right? So we just need to hack one website where you're registered with that password. We take it from there and we use it in the rest of the platforms.
Yeah, so here is the place where you are not going to be able to remove your phone number. So the only solution here is to use a private phone number, a phone number that is not tied to your identity. And this is a concept that should be applied on any important service that you are required and you are enforced to use a phone number, the best way is to get just a phone number under the name of another person that is not tied to you, that if someone wants to target you, it will be almost impossible for them to know that that phone number it's the one that you are using. Like.
Yeah, that, go back a second, that I
Yeah.
want to say something about that. Uh, so you all know, like, phone numbers are not safe at all, right? There's hundreds of ways to hack a mobile phone number, very easy. So as we were saying, your public phone number must not be here because everyone already knows which one it is, and they can very easily SIM swap it or intercept the SMS. Every SMS that we receive with codes from Apple, Google, Microsoft, Airbnb, banks, or whatever, go through 7 or 6 servers, and many of them are compromised. Today, we know about that because you can go in Telegram groups and intercept any of those SMS. So having a cold phone number means that you will need to have a phone number that is private, nobody knows that it's yours. If you live in the US, the best alternative is to use Google Fi. If you don't live in the US, you cannot. Second alternative, there's a company called Effani, effani.com/Opsek. You will have a discount there. It's a company that sells you phone numbers that are pretty expensive, $1,000 per year, but they have an 11-layer process when you want to reset the SIM, right? So they are pretty secure, and they have been designed for people that are targets of SIM swaps. And then, as we were saying, most of platforms that give you virtual phone numbers, we have researched all of them, they are not safe, right? So the conclusion is, get a phone number under the name of someone you trust, not you, and use that one. Not under your name and not sharing it, because I can just pay someone that works at AT&T and say, hey, give me the phone numbers from Bruno. They will search for his phone number. They will disable SIM swap protection or whatever, and the account will be very easily taken over. And what else about phone numbers? Well, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Basically, the only important platform where phone number is mandatory is AppleID.
Perfect. Let's continue with this. So now you will have to enable second factor authentication of your Apple account. The most secure way to do second factor authentication in all services, when you are allowed to, is with YubiKeys, physical security keys. If they are configured in the correct way, they are not phishable and are the best way to do second factor. They are even more secure than TOTP apps. So on Apple ID, you have the possibility to enforce YubiKeys, and you will have also to, once that you configure security keys, you need to remove other methods of second factor. You have to be sure that you have only the best or the more secure way of do second factor authentication, and that you are not using like several second factors, because at the end your security is the least secure way that you are using. Like if you are using several ways to use second factor, if you are using SMS and also security keys, well, your real security is that you are using SMS as second factor.
Yeah, Apple will require you at least 2 security keys. If you're here, I would say you at least have 3. So you have 3 YubiKeys. You enforce the PIN in all of them, right? So for example, I have my YubiKey always plugged into my device, but part of my threat model is that they could steal my computer unlocked, right? So that YubiKey, every time I use it, it requires a PIN, right? So if you don't have the PIN, it's useless. So at least 3. Why 3? Because let's say that you travel to here, to Dev Connect in Buenos Aires. You travel with 1 in your computer, 1 in your pocket, and you leave 1 at home, right? So if the worst happens, you get to the airport, you get into a taxi, they steal everything from you, you have a backup, right? And anyways, now we will see after this that after adding security keys, you will have to create a backup code, a recovery code that will allow you to get your account back in case you are locked out.
Yeah, so here is the whole process to add the security keys. As Pablo said, Apple enforce you to add two. This is a good feature. Many services don't do it, and it's key because if you are not using like at least two YubiKeys, you are gonna be locked out.
And one thing that is important related to that, when you start using YubiKeys, I highly recommend you to start doing that. It's very important to be very well organized. I have like 15 YubiKeys because I buy all of them for research, and I use all of them, right? So it's very important when you set them up to put the name. This is the YubiKey, like this YubiKey Nano 5C1, right? Because when you have many, if someday you lose one and you need to remove it and you go to the list and it just says YubiKey, you don't have any idea which one it is. And their recommendation is just put the same pin to all of them, because if not, you may confuse which one it is and you reset them and you are fucked. So just put the same pin to all of them and that's it. I think that that's a very good idea. If you think that for some reason it's not, you can share it with us, but I think that that's good.
Okay, so after configuring the second factor with the YubiKeys, you will have to set up your recovery key. This is one of the key things that we think that you should store physically written in a paper. Please do not store these recovery codes, any recovery codes or this recovery key on a password manager, because we have seen password managers get hacked and many accounts compromised because of that, because of people using password managers in the way that they are not designed to store that kind of information, let's say.
Yeah, so related to this, two ideas. One is you will see the recovery code. It's like, I think that 20 letters, something like that.
24, I think, yeah.
Yeah, 24. Just print it. I would say that this kind of stuff, you must always have them in paper. Why? Let's say that again. I travel to Thailand, I lose everything. I want to be able to call someone, like call my mom and say, hey, mom, go to my home, go to this place, take this paper, read this to me, right? You don't want to be locked out of your devices. We know about people that even travel to this conference now and maybe they lost something and they are totally locked out if they don't go back, right? So this kind of stuff, backup codes, recovery codes, two places where you can put them. In paper, or you know that in Mac, there's a hidden nice feature. If you go to disk utility, you are able to create a virtual encrypted drive, right? So it's a drive with a password, basically. That's very good. We don't recommend BetaCrypt anymore. You remember BetaCrypt, that is what used to be TrueCrypt. We don't recommend that anymore because now BetaCrypt requires to install a kernel, an extension at the kernel level in our devices. And even if it's open source or whatever, we don't want to install that kind of stuff. So we think that virtual disk is totally fine. But again, this kind of stuff, have it very stored safely. Again, safely, but you also want to be able to access it in an easy way in case it's needed, right? Paper is always the same. We always say that we used to make fun maybe of, oh yeah, my mom puts her passwords in some notepad. She doesn't know anything about security. In the end, paper is one of the best things.
Perfect. And at last, for your Apple ID settings, you want to enable advanced data protection. This feature will allow you, to encrypt all your data on Apple servers.
Yeah, unless you live in the UK where it's not enabled. You should configure that because in theory, even if Apple wanted to see what's inside, they would not be able to do it. And then there's one thing that we didn't say here. This is not recommended for your accounts, but for the people, like for your family. you have these recovery contacts, right? This will allow a third party, another person, another Apple ID to help you recover your account. So this is recommended for you to set up for your family, let's say, right? But for yourself, only if you really, really trust someone, trusting them regarding 2 points of view, right? Trusting that they will not fuck you, and trusting that they are paranoid enough to have a really nice setup, right?
Yeah, like these differences are part of what we said at the beginning, like try to understand your threat model scenario. It's not the same what you will recommend to your family, for example, that the settings that are going will use you. So yeah, that's the idea.
And when you try to enable advanced data protection, for sure this happens every time, I don't know why, but when you try to enable, it will fail. Next time, probably it will fail again, and the third time it works. I don't know why, but it always happens. And then also check what you are saving to iCloud, right? This is pretty important. Many times we are saving stuff that we don't even know that we are doing. For example, if you are storing the full backup of your device in iCloud, and someone hacks your iCloud, and they get that information, they are able to access the key store files from the hot wallets that you have in your device, right? We have seen many of those cases. So they hack someone's iCloud account, they get the backup of their device, they go to the MetaMask folder, whatever, key store file, unencrypted, crypto gone. So check what you are backing up. In fact, these settings that we are seeing, we recommend them, like we recommend to have Apple ID in your main device, but then if you have a dedicated device for signing and that kind of stuff, no Apple ID. Like, the less we have, the better. And here, when you enable advanced data protection, if you have some devices that are old, you will have to remove them from your Apple ID, basically, because this is only compatible with certain devices. If you have a very old MacBook or phone, it will not work, or it will ask you to update it first.
Okay. Yeah, so here's the whole process of the recovery key. And
This was what we were saying.
yeah.
You will for sure see that something went wrong, always. I don't know why, and then it will work.
Okay, so let's start with security on macOS systems. You have also the checklist to follow along with all the configurations that we are going to see. The first thing is you would like to have some kind of antivirus if you're not using an EDR on your machine. There are several antivirus that we can recommend, like Bitdefender, Integomac, and Malwarebytes. There is also Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft Defender also works for macOS.
For macOS.
It's not so good. Microsoft Defender is more like it has been designed from the point of view of I forgot the name of well, it's not so good. It's for compliance, so that people that work in Microsoft can use a Mac, but it's not so good. The important thing about this, like 99% of the money stolen in the blockchain ecosystem in the last 3 years is operational security, and 9 out of those cases, 9 out of 10 of all those cases were because Mac devices were infected, right? We think, like everyone thinks, that virus and malware are for Windows. If you are using a Mac, there's no malware. That's just that. It's a myth. It's full of malware for Mac, full of malware for Windows. Many times that we scan devices from clients that are devices that are working totally fine, they are infected. So it's very important to use one of these tools. At least you spend $20 in Malwarebytes, which is pretty good. But the thing with antiviruses is that antiviruses work with fingerprints, right? They try to find viruses because they already know that kind of virus. But if I If I say, okay, Louis uses a Mac and Brave and has installed in his Brave for Mac Rabbit wallet, I can design very easily a malware that will just go to his device and will read memory and copy his private key, and that will not be detected by an antivirus, right? That's why we recommend EDRs. EDRs is endpoint detection and response, like CrowdStrike or Sentinel-1. You don't need to work for a company to have them. You can just pay them for yourself. They are $150 per year, right? It's not expensive. Or if we are talking about security, it's not expensive. But the good thing about these tools is that they will detect stuff based on behavior. So if they see some process that is reading memory, copying something, and trying to send it to a server, it will stop it, right? Even if it doesn't know what it is. So we highly recommend that. If the industry used antiviruses or EDRs, 99% of the money that we have seen being lost, including Bybit, would not have been lost.
Yeah. Personally, I think that you should have or try to use both kind of software, an antivirus, and also one of the several tools that we are going to see, Objective-C, is a foundation that makes open source software for Apple devices.
Security software.
Yeah, and there are some of the tools that we're going to see act in the way that the EDR acts, like try to scan the processes on your computer and try to understand if there is something that is that is making your computer work in an unusual way, and try to alert you about that. So yeah, because of that reason, sometimes these kind of tools works better than antiviruses that are only comparing with a database. The first tool that we are going to see about Objective-C is Lulu. Lulu is a firewall that is going to protect your network connections. Lulu is going to block any outgoing and incoming connections. This is good because the firewall that comes with your macOS system is not protecting you full of all outgoing connections, only for incoming connections. So you will like to enable both, like the Mac firewall that comes with the OS system, and also this another tool.
Yeah, something important regarding that. I don't know why, but macOS firewall by default comes off. It's turned off for some reason. And then we are used to thinking that firewalls protect us from someone attacking us, right? We haven't seen, in fact, in the last 3 years, we have not seen any case of a macOS device being attacked from outside. We want Lulu to protect us. Like, in the case someone infects us, first thing that will protect us is, okay, we will try not to download the stuff, right? But if we download the stuff and we run it, the antivirus should detect it. But if the antivirus does not detect it, the idea from this is that the malware will copy my private keys, but when it tries to send those private keys to the server from the attacker, the firewall will stop it, and you will get a notification. Okay, this process is trying to connect to this IP, and you say, what is this? You block it, and that's it, you're protected.
Perfect. So Lulu came with several rules, but you can also create your own rules and add to them. The other tool that is really useful is Task Explorer. This tool allows you to visualize all the processes that are running on your computer. So it's going to be, when you use it, it's going to be easier for you to spot several processes that are using like many random access memory, or that are running like in an onward way. It's also going to flag you which processes like the system detects that are not
signed by Apple.
Yeah.
And this is an example. You will see the list of processes. It will scan those processes with VirusTotal. Now, right now, this feature is not working because they have to update in the tool something regarding to VirusTotal. But it doesn't matter. When it starts working again, you will see like if the process is green, it means that it has been signed by Apple. If it's or a developer authorized by Apple, and if it's orange, I think that it's a developer that is not identified. And then this will also check if it's listed in the VirusTotal list of malware. The important thing about these kind of tools is that you'll be able to see how much stuff you're running in your device and you have no idea that you're running. Even things that you have already uninstalled and you still have processes running. And it will show you exactly, okay, this is the process, here's the file, and you will be able to kill everything from there.
Okay, so knock knock works in a similar way, but the idea of knock knock is to allow you to spot all programs that are running persistently on your Mac. This is really important because you know that some malwares, like spyware, for example, will require, the idea of a spyware is that will require you to infect your computer and to be stored there persistently.
Yeah, persistently means that every time you reboot your device, it will load
not
again.
Wipe out.
So knock knock will show you, like, well, this is the installation, but then continue. It will show you, like, there, the list of all the login items, periodic scripts, startup scripts, system extensions, and you will be able to see in detail everything that you have persistent in your device, and it will also check with VirusTotal if something is infected. Again, you will find lots of stuff you had no idea. Block is very similar to knock knock. This tool, what it does is that when you are installing something, whenever some process wants to keep persistence in your device, like you are installing Zoom, which you shouldn't do, but you are installing Zoom, and Zoom wants to add persistence to your device to start up every time you start your device, you will get a notification from block saying, hey, Zoom updater wants to add persistence to your device. Do you want to allow it? And again, you will see the amount of stuff that this software used to add. For example, Acrobat Reader in Mac has like 7 processes running. One to update itself, one to send statistics from your device, one to check your license, it's full of stuff that shouldn't be there. The less stuff that we have, the better. One important thing about these tools that you will see is that every time that you want to install a security tool, it will require full access to your device, right? And you will have to put your admin username and password. This is why it's very important to only use tools that you really trust, that you have researched, and that are open source, right? We use this, but if you want to use it, research it, right? We trust on it, but you don't have why to trust us. So verify everything before using it. Again, this is all open source.
Perfect. And at the end, the last application that we think is really useful is Reiki. Reiki will allow you to scan and detect applications that want to register or to keep track of all the logs that you are typing on your computer. So basically, keyloggers that are trying to steal your accesses when you type it.
Yeah, and there you have an example. Yeah. If you have Reiki and you have a process that is trying to see what you're typing, you will get a notification like this one. And then in the Objective-C website, you will see many other tools. For example, there's a tool that is very nice called
Netiquette?
Well,
Or
Netiquette will allow you to see all the processes that are connecting to the internet or to a network. And there's also one tool that protects you from the evil mail attack, that is basically someone going to your device and physically opening it and trying to log in. So that tool, every time you open the lid from your Mac, like physically like this, that's stored, right, in macOS configuration. So that will show you a list of every time your computer was opened and every time someone tried to log in, and even you can configure that if someone tries to log in and it fails, it can take a photograph and you can get a notification in another device.
okay, well, as we said, your macOS system comes with a firewall. Ideally, you would like to use the firewall also with Lulu, like both of them. Like all applications, uh, it matters a lot that they are configured well. So a firewall means nothing. Like having firewall enabled means nothing if you have like a bad configuration of the rules, or you are just like clicking allow anytime that you are being prompted with a notification that some program is trying to connect to your computer. Well, the idea is that you really have to care when you have a notification to see and try to understand, hey, why is this happening? Which is the program that is trying to connect or to send information to somewhere. Yeah, so here you can block like all incoming connections. You can allow only the programs that you or applications that you allow to receive incoming connections. And as we said, this firewall, the weakest point is that it's not protecting you from outgoing connections, and for that reason is that you would like to use Lulu.
Yeah, and
At the same time.
And one more thing here is to select this option, block all incoming connections, and select this R1, enable stealth mode. So you should have those two enabled. Okay, now file vault and disk encryption. Depending on the version of your macOS and where you bought your MacBook, this will come enabled or not. File vault is like the BitLocker for Windows, right? What it will do is basically encrypt your drive. Why is it useful? If you forget your device in a car or the FBI raids your home, you don't want them to be able to take out your disk, connect it in another device, and see what's there because it's unencrypted. So File Vault will encrypt your drive, right? So you must turn it on. And when you turn it on, you will have two options. Now, go here. Yeah. So it will tell you, do you want to allow your iCloud account to unlock your disk? So if you ever lose access to your secret key, having that enabled will allow iCloud to open your drive, right? That means that also police or any agency will be able to open it too, right? They just need to require Apple to unencrypt it, and they will be able to do it. So we don't recommend that. Or again, it depends on your threat model. It depends on who you're protecting from and where you live. But the recommended option is to create a recovery key, right? And do not use my iCloud account. Sometimes that recovery key is the same one that you use for iCloud account protection. Sometimes it gives you a different one. It depends on the version of the operating system that you have. So, okay, that is for encrypting your whole drive. And then, as we said, if you go to the disk utility tool, you can go to File, New Image, Blank Image, then continue to the next one. And here you are able to select to create a new disk, for example, for 100 megabytes, encrypt it. In encryption, you select 256-bit AES encryption, and you will be able to create a virtual encrypted drive, and you can put important stuff inside there, and depending again on your threat model, you can put that file maybe in the cloud, or maybe you can put it in a USB drive.
Perfect.
Again, the idea from this drive is to have, what can you have there? Backup codes, recovery keys, security keys, seed phrases only in the case that you are doing this offline. Like for most of the people, we just recommend seed phrases in paper. But if you think that you are sophisticated enough, something that you can do regarding seed phrases instead of having them in paper is you have a device, you format it, after formatting it with no internet, no nothing, you create the virtual encrypted drive, you open a TXT file, you enter your seed phrase, you save it inside the virtual encrypted drive, you close it, you copy that file into a USB drive, and then you format the device again, right? So all of this process, you now have your seed phrase inside the virtual encrypted drive in a USB drive, and the device where you configured that, where you entered your seed phrase, was not connected to the internet in any moment, and then you format it, right?
Yeah, it's
but I think
important
that it's too complicated, and it's over-engineering for 99% of cases.
Yeah, also, like we said, what you have to take in count is that maybe you are sophisticated enough to unencrypt the files, but you also have to think that sometimes you will need another person to help you to recover that. And maybe if someone that you trust, like friends or family, are not sophisticated to do all this, and for that reason, like the paper is like...
Yeah, or if something happens to you, you want your family to have access to your crypto, basically. Well, then we have Veracrypt. As we were saying, we don't recommend this tool anymore because it requires to have to install a system extension at the kernel level. But if you want to use it for some reason, it's open source. Something interesting that this tool has is that it has hidden volumes, right? So you're able to create an encrypted drive, and you can have two passwords for it. So if you put password A, you will see some content. If you put password B, you will see some other content. So this gives you plausible deniability, right? If someone says, hey, open the disk, you can, and you're being forced to do that, you can open it with password B, and they have no way of knowing if there's a second disk or not, if there's a second password there or not. Again, too much sophistication for 99% of cases. But if the state is after you, maybe. Okay, automatic updates.
Okay, perfect. This is something that comes enabled as default, but you would like to check and be sure that your system is automatically updating itself. So yeah, you will have to go to software updates and see that everything, all the boxes are ticked, and you are updating all the software automatically.
Yeah, and one thing about these ones is, especially the last one, install security responses and file systems. What this will do is like there are two kinds of updates from Apple. Normal updates for bugs, and updates to patch like exploits that are being exploited in the wild. So this last option will install those things as soon as possible, and will require you, it will give you the option to restart your device as soon as possible. Every time you see an update, now updates for Mac take the most 5 minutes, do them.
Okay, another cool setting that Mac has is lockdown mode. Lockdown mode basically turns your Mac or your iPhone into a paranoid mode. This is something that it's cool to try and to see that if for you works. Like in the way that you use your devices like daily, makes you really harder to use it or not. Personally, I try it, and for me, I think that it didn't interfere with my daily use, so I have it like lockdown mode enabled like all the time. But some people, for some reason, feels like having lockdown mode makes impossible for them to use their devices like in a regular way. But it's something that if you have any doubts that something strange is happening with your device, that you have been compromised, you can just turn lockdown mode on.
Yeah, lockdown mode is the feature that Apple launched after having many zero-day exploits, zero-click, zero-day exploits targeting highly important people. And this is one of the few things that will protect you from that. We highly recommend to enable it. This, for example, if someone sends you an image in iMessage, it will not be downloaded automatically. Or if you are into some website that has some kind of JavaScript, that JavaScript may be disabled if they consider that it's dangerous. But for most of the cases, it will work totally fine, so enable it. Also know that when you enable it in Mac, you will get a message in your other Apple devices telling you to enable it there too. It's optional, but if you can enable it everywhere, it's nice.
Of course, one of the most important things regarding the physical security of your device is to have lockdown screen settings at the minimum. Personally, I use I think the minimum is 1 minute. If I have in any device, I always try to use like the minimum. And for me, like we think that you have to get accustomed on and make it like second nature for you to always have your screen locked. Like even if you are alone at home, like to lock your screen, because you don't want like this is something like psychological, but you don't want like to rely on your mind to think, oh, I'm at my home alone, or no, now I'm at the cowork and I have to lock it. So for me, it's just easy. I always lock my Mac, and all my devices have lockdown screen automatically set it at the minimum. Well, now maybe
Remember one thing.
yeah.
Remember related to that, when the Silk Road founder, when they got the guy, he has his computer encrypted. But what they did is he was working in a library, and they simulated that there was a fight between a girl and a guy. He did like this, and they took his computer and locked. Right. So every time, like I am working here, and someone comes and talks to me, you lock it, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, like nowadays that we are using biometrics, it's not difficult to be. You don't have to be typing like your password and that. It's really easy to just put your finger, your face. So it's not an issue to say that you have to do something to unlock it all the time.
Yeah, and also if you are going through if you know that in the next moment, hour, whatever, you may be in some kind of difficult situation or whatever, I don't know. Let's say that you are going through an airport, and for some reason you don't want to show what you have in your device. They can just take your finger and put it there, and they will unlock your computer. But if you turn it off, when the computer is turned on, like the iPhone, it will require your password, and you just don't give your password, and that's it, right? So also have that in mind. iPhone also allows you to lock it, right? So it doesn't work your Face ID. That's something important in case someone wants to, using violence, make you unlock your device.
Yeah, like law enforcement, for some reason, can enforce you to unlock with biometrics, but if you are using password or PIN, they cannot force you to unlock your device, so it's important that. Well, this is also really important. You want to disable iPhone mirroring and all the features that are like screen mirroring, screen sharing, and that. You have to be really, really careful with this. Most of device compromise and incidents that we see are using like this kind of features. So yeah, you can disable hand off and also iPhone mirroring and AirPlay here. As the same as your operating system that you want the software to download automatically the updates, you will also want applications to update automatically. So this feature you have to make sure that it's enabled on the App Store
Yeah.
and all the applications are updating itself.
No, here you basically go to system settings, privacy and security. You will see many options, but one is called allow applications from, and you should only enable App Store. Instead of App Store and non-developers, only App Store. Why? Because App Store and non-developers means that, I don't know, I am a non-developer, right? So every time I send an update from my app to my website, I update my app, I sign the app with a key that I only have and Mac verifies. You can download that app and you can install it. But it's very easy to hack a dev, steal their keys, upload a new piece of software infected that has been signed by him, and you install it and you're fucked. So only App Store.
Perfect.
Well, if you enable, if for some reason, when you have lockdown mode enabled, sometimes when you want to connect a new USB drive or your ledger or something, you will have to allow it, right? But if not, if you don't have that lockdown mode enabled, you can go here, again, to privacy and security. Like when you go to privacy and security, just check the whole list of stuff that you have. But one is allow accessories to connect. You will have to ask for any new accessories. And this is especially important for cables. Now, surely you know that there's a cable called OMG cable. It's a cable that just looks like a normal cable, but you connect it to your computer, and if your computer is unlocked, it will open the terminal, you will not even see it, it will be hidden, and it will run code, and your computer is compromised.
Yeah. And also it's the bad USB, like the same version.
So whenever you connect a cable to just charge your device, it shouldn't ask for any permission because you just need to charge it. Anyways, just use your own cables. Yes. Don't use cables from any other people. They look exactly the same. And it's full of those cables, full. They are $20. They are not $500 anymore, so everyone has them. Okay, here also, when you go in privacy and security, you will have the option of full disk access. You have to click there, and when you click there, you will see which tools have the permission to have full disk access. Here you should only have, well, check what you have, but there should be only security tools. If there's something that you don't recognize, you remove it. Like, first of all, take a screenshot, then disable it, and then do a bit of more research to understand what it is. Then the same for files and folders. You will click there and see which applications can access any file and folder, and you remove what you do not recognize, or just applications that shouldn't have that permission. Input monitoring, the same. There you will see what apps are able to check what you're typing. Usually Discord is there, disable it. Discord is super dangerous to use. And then, okay, again, privacy and security, advanced. And when you go to advanced, continue there.
Yeah.
Here, you will enable this option to require an administrator password to access system-wide settings, right? This should always
Yes,
be
this is
enabled.
key. This is key because you want, if any kind of malware gets into your computer, you want at least one more barrier that is to be required to put an administrator key and not that malware to have like full access to install anything and or change system settings without any other restriction.
So we have just one more minute. We have many other configurations here. But well, the last one is remote desktop. Disable any application that has permissions to use remote desktop and do not use this kind of apps. And then what I would say, two last things, because we are now
Yeah.
up with the time. First of all, these are lots of configurations, right? We haven't seen everything. There's lots of stuff. The more layers you put, the less probable your device will be compromised in the future. But anyways, part of your threat model should be that your device will eventually be compromised, right? We always say it. You will not believe me for this, for sure. And it's okay, I used to think the same. All of our devices, my device, his device, your devices, Vitalik's device, Donald Trump's device, Putin's device, all devices will eventually be compromised, right? We saw that, you remember the XC backdoor that was out there, that nearly infected all Linux devices worldwide? That's the one we catched. How many of those were successful and all of those devices are compromised? For sure, there's no way that those things have had many successful attacks and devices are compromised. The thing is that maybe we are not the target of the threat actor that has access to that tool, right? So first of all, think that your device could be compromised, so do not have everything in one computer, right? And second, try to verify everything you do and understand what you're doing, right? And last thing, we launched the tool. If you go to our website, Opsek.io, you will see that we created 3 tools, one for Mac, one for Windows, and one for Linux, that are scripts that you can run, and you will have many of these configurations done automatically, right? As it's a script that you have to run with with root permissions in your device, don't just go and run them, right? Not yet. We have just launched it. It's an MVP. That script is going to be audited by 3 big auditing firms, and after that, you can use them if you want to use them, right? But know that we have done that in order to try to make this easier, right? But again, anytime that you are running some tool or some script or something in your device, understand what you are running and understand the risks. Anything else you want to add?
I think it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We couldn't do everything. We saw half of all the stuff.
But also you have the checklist, and in the checklist you can follow like step by step all the configurations also on your iPhone that we were not able to see, but you will have everything. You will have the configuration of the correct configuration of the YubiKeys also, of the cold email accounts. So yeah, and if you have any doubts of any of the steps, feel free to reach out by email or Telegram to any of us, and we will help you with them.
Yeah, exactly. And a small shield. Well, this is basically what we do at Opsek, right? Our company, what we do is operational security audits and trainings for any Web3 organization. So anything that we can help you with, you let us know. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bueno, muy bien.